Another
Oh,
Sargnul.
that's a particularly fearsome looking one, isn't it?
Yeah, it is really.
And look at the beautiful shaft with the bands
Yeah,
of gilding on the shaft or silverware.
yeah.
The next axe looks so utilitarian.
It does. Yeah, of course it does. Look at this one. Pete is talking
Yeah,
about this. Yeah, it does. Yeah,
it's got a massive socket to increase the weight.
yeah.
Uh, I wonder if it's a judicial axe for de-handing thieves or something. It looks like it's meant for serious work. Um, oh, it's incredibly nice.
It's unbelievable.
But see that kind of the axe is almost like modern art in the sense that it's all planes and
Yes, it is.
it's entirely different from the Zagnol, which is very animated, like it's alive.
Yes.
The shapes flow into one like a bird's beak or something like that. It's got of course, crow's beak is the European name for those,
Yes.
but it's got naturalistic features to it, whereas the other one is brutalist and really terrifying looking.
Look at
Oh,
this one, Pete.
that's really interesting because it combines two different types of sword. Its construction is like a kandar with a
Yes.
reinforced back, but
Yes.
the shape is what I think in India was called Salawa Yatagan
Yes.
because it's got a Yatagan type
Yes.
blade, but
Yes.
it's got the kandar hilt, which that would be devastating as a weapon, I think.
I mean, pieces like that coming from such collections show us one thing. The simple classification done by Western collectors does not always work, guys.
No, no, because if you've got a limited pool of things to work your classification out with, you're always going to be limited by that. You've got to know about these collections and go and look at them. Now, admittedly, during the Cold War, that might have been a bit more difficult than it is today,
Yes,
but
of
even
course.
so,
Yes.
it's
Of
pretty
course.
exciting these days.
Yes, of
Um, but yeah, you're right. You've got to expand the breadth of these collections. You've got to have a bigger sample size to work out, you know,
yeah.
how to categorize them. See, how would you categorize that? Is it a Kanda? Is it a Salawa Yatagam? You know,
Yeah,
I don't know.
exactly. Look at
I
these.
mean, yeah, I'm looking at that pommel prong. Um, see, you can see there that the hilt is covered in fabric. This is what I
Ah,
was saying about the earlier one.
most miss that part. Yeah, it
Yeah,
has its padding
yeah,
as well. Yeah.
yeah. The padding, but the hilt is like a red velvet cover. Look at there's very fine work on that pommel spike.
Mm.
And I know they look thin and unimpressive, but when you actually hold them in your hand and you swing the sword, which, maybe I have done that, um, it's really comfortable. And
Yes, it is.
if you're doing a draw cut, it's really easy to pull the sword down with that rather than
Yes.
hack. My Ferengi has got one of those, and I swung that around a few times. The Tang, well, not necessarily in this because it has the blade is sandwiched in the reinforcement. But say in a Ferengi or something like that, where the blade goes up, the tang goes all the way up through the handle, all the way up through the spike, and is covered by the little ballers, often pinned over. And not everyone, but some of the ones I've handled are.
Yeah.
So it's substantially a really strong piece of the sword. It looks so thin compared to the hilt, but it's not. And you can hit somebody with it too if you really feel nasty.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
they're quite useful in fencing. Oh, now that's fancy.
Very nice. So
That's just meant to be a work of art.
look at the tip of it, Pete.
Oh yeah, well yeah, and punch through anything you get close enough to. But just look at the way the way it's formed. It looks like pattern welding.
Yes,
Am
it is
I
pattern
Mrs.
welded. Yes, Pete.
Yeah. So they've done it like a Pamor in a Chris. They've
Yes.
pattern welded different colors of metal,
Yes.
and it's almost like water flowing down. We were talking about water still, but it's a
Yeah.
different concept. This is like a stream. And
Yes.
then you've got a flower in the middle of the grip in
Yes.
gold.
Yes.
Everything is over the top. And is that a pierce blade? Or
Yes.
is it just,
No, no, it's pierced. Yes, here, this part.
yeah, wow. I mean,
Pierced. It has everything.
just every single thing you could put into a knife, they've put into this.
Such a
Yeah,
beautiful.
that's a beautiful work of art. I mean, the fact that these are very functional knives,
It is. Yes.
if you know how to use them. If you don't know how to use them, they're just a
I mean,
punch
I
away. But
hope
if you
these
know,
ideas serve for modern knife makers or collectors who want to order to have them reproduced because really they're really so beautiful. There is no need
oh
to
yeah,
make fantasy blades, honestly, guys.
well, it always strikes me. I was looking through some knives on the internet the other day, seeing if I could find something that looked a bit like a car. I could all 90% of the knives had features that work actively against using it as a knife.
Yeah.
And it's like I have the same thing about bows. There's a whole group of bow makers trying to make traditional bows that come up with these fantasy tips on the bows, which do nothing for the bow, don't make them look authentic,
Yes.
and are a lot of extra work for the bow maker. And I'm going, why? Why don't you look at the real ones? You can learn so much by looking at things in museums. And you know they worked because, well, these knives,
Yeah.
Qatars have been used in India for more than 1,000 years,
Yeah. Yeah.
probably a lot more.
No problem.
I mean, they require a certain level of metallurgical sophistication to be able to fit the blade to the handle. That's not easy. It's
Yeah.
so much easier to make a blade with a tang and just put an ordinary handle on it than it is to make one of those. And they're all strong. They're very, very strong.
Very.
So there must have been a point where they couldn't make them, but at least 1,000 years, probably 1,500 years, they were making those.
Someone
Here's
like
another
Zach
Zagna.
knows a lot, right?
I can see why. They're very visual, they're very attractive looking, and functionally, they're probably really nasty. I
Very.
notice that they've got sharpened edges, and I think you notice the kind of war pick type things
Yes.
have diamond section edges to go through plate mail or something. This is designed to hit somebody and be able to pull it out. But in the process of pulling it out, the blade would just scoop a huge cut out of the poor
Yeah.
unfortunate
Yeah.
person that you were arguing with. Um, Whereas the pick type one, they get lodged in the body. I'm not speaking from experience. I have never ever hit somebody with something like this, nor do I ever want to. But you see it, like in historical accounts of battles and duels and that they got stuck in the body of your opponent. Whereas that one, I sometimes think the Tabazin style of axe head is also designed not to go in too deep,
Yeah.
but to do a lot of damage on the way in because they're so impressive
This is
in
a
their
solid
design.
axe, isn't it, Beat? Very solid.
Yeah.
Very.
Well, the thing is, well, this was Nadir Shah liked axes, didn't he?
Yeah, yeah, he
Um,
loved them. He always fought with an axe. Yeah.
yeah. And these are really they're I mean, when you see them head on, you realize that the socket and the hammer on the back are quite solid, but the blade tapers in to quite a thin cutting blade. But it's woods. It's really hard. It takes a really good edge.
Yes.
Yeah, these are impressive weapons. The thing that always amazed me is they have round handles.
Yeah.
So the thing that strikes me is how do you know whether you've got the edge alignment correct? And I'm assuming that the balance of the blade,
The
because
balance. I
of
mean,
that
I
big
handled
back.
many of them also with train with that. Actually, if it's well made, the balance, I have reproductions and actually is no problem. When you also cut a coconut, right? It's just really,
Oh yeah, well you need perfect alignment for that.
yes, it's really aligned. Beat, look
No,
at this
they look.
one. Look at the close up.
It's really beautifully done. I mean, again, these I know maces were worn on the saddle in a ring with a little leather pad behind it, and you drop the mace into it. I think these might have been as well. then you could show off how beautiful the axe head was.
Yes.
Um, but I mean, originally, this is according to Saraf, the Egyptian scholar. Uh, the term tabazin didn't mean saddle axe, which it means now.
No.
It just meant the big axe.
Big
And then
axe.
over time, they split into tabar, which
Yes.
is the big axe carried in front of the sultan or the shah
Yes.
by his bodyguards, and tabazin, which is the axe you hung off your saddle
Yes.
or you know.
That's right.
But these are so functional. I think it was Maliki and Shivani did a long article on them in that Elgood's book on
Yes,
Islamic arms and arts.
on Lotfali Tabarzins. Yes, he did.
Yeah, yeah. Look, Ali, yeah.
Okay, sorry, this is a very blurred picture, but you can see it
But
here.
you can see that piercing in it. Yeah,
Yes.
that's lovely.
Yes.
There's two flowers.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's one of the most fearsome looking weapons you can
Yes.
imagine, but we've got to put flowers on it. We're not
Yes.
uncivilized. Well, that's an interesting sword. The blade, does that have a long yellow,
Yeah, it
like a long
does.
back edge?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's quite exceptional.
And a fuller.
Yeah, a nice one, nicely
Yeah.
set up. Really, that's it's not. I mean, it's more or less straight and then curves. It's not a big curve, but
Mhm.
I think very functional.
Yes.
I'm guessing that's what early 19th century, something like that.
Yes.
Let's guess. The hilt.
Beat. Look at these
Oh, oh,
dagger.
gee,
Look at these Qatar. Oh
mm,
my God. Look.
that's such a show-off piece.
Yeah.
You can everything about it is just exquisite. Even the scabbard fittings. I mean, I remember one of my friends had one that had, all the gilding and everything like that. And then I looked at the scabbard and realized that the scabbard fittings were all water steel inlaid with gold as well. Okay.
Scabbard fittings are bejeweled. Look at this bead.
Well, these ones, yeah, these have got jewels on them. I mean, this
Yeah.
is, yeah. Again, walking into the bazaar, you have about 20 bodyguards if you
Yeah,
can afford to carry this.
exactly. Don't get close to a guy carrying one of
Yeah.
it, right?
Maybe when he went to the bazaar, he was sitting on top of an elephant in a howdah, and the bodyguards were all walking around the bottom. I don't know. I
Yeah.
mean, of course, rich people had other people to go out and buy things for them, so they didn't actually have to go to the bazaar unless they felt like it.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's really nice design. If you saw that in a 1920s kind of book of stylish objects, if you didn't know it was a knife or anything, that would just yeah, that's really
Yes. Very
the
beautiful.
latest mode or whatever. It's very nicely done. Oh, I love the shields with swirly bits on them.
Yeah. Look at this one bead.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's exceptionally nice.
Exceptional work from India.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
they
Ex-
they they had a there were schools of smiths and yeah, I know that like in Iran and Turkey, artists from the court would often design things and then the smiths would make them,
yeah.
but they would adjust them to make them a real
Yes.
thing. That they'd use the patterns and designs of the artists. So when we look at these, we're not necessarily looking at something that was made just in a swordsmith's workshop. It might have had input from painters and jewelers who may have also obviously the guy that makes the shield, the steel part of the shield, is probably not the guy that does the gold inlay because that would be asking a lot.
Yes.
Um, but it's so nicely laid out.
And
And here,
another sheep.
this is one of those rhino hide ones that
Yes. Rhino.
looks really solid.
Very.
My rhino hide one is
Mm.
at least that thick.
Yeah. Very thick.
I mean, they're quite light, but they would stop any kind of sword blow.
You know, this rhino hide, I mean, I know it's not, it's nature, it's white, nature and so, but sometimes when the lions get desperate in Africa and they make a
Mhm.
terrible mistake to attack, a rhino, and you see you're
Yeah.
hanging on the rhino, nothing happens to the rhino, right? They try to fight, they try whatever they do, nothing happens to the
Yeah,
rhino.
lots of chewing, but no progress.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
and Indian rhinos, because they have those kind of segmented armored skins, are even more impressive. Their horns are much smaller than the African ones, but their body armor and the way their skin grows in like armored plates,
You know
it's
what you were
really
talking about them? It just came to my mind. It's really interesting. African elephants are bigger than Indian ones, and also the rhinos there are bigger. I never thought
yeah,
about
yeah.
that. It's interesting, right?
Well, I think it's that they've got more opportunities to roam. Elephants have been semi-domesticated because they mate in the wild normally, and they're captured as younger elephants and trained by mahouts and older elephants. So they've been semi-domesticated for several thousand years. In Africa, they didn't domesticate them because African elephants are less compliant. They don't really like being told what to do. But that's saying that there were originally three species of African elephants, and the North African one was trainable, and that's what the Carthaginians used.
Ah, you're right.
Um,
They did, yes.
uh, there is the pygmy forest elephant, which is really big, but compared to the African plains elephants, it's not as big. Uh, they're apparently really good hiding in the forest because they stand really still and their legs look like tree trunks and they're in the shade and the leaves and everything. You can walk right past one of these elephants and not know it's there, which is a bit scary. It's interesting. I don't think, pardon me, I don't think the Carthaginians started using elephants until after the Diadochi, the generals of Alexander the Great, bought elephants from India. And then they realized, oh, we've got a local breed. We can do that here as well.
Yes,
Because it was very expensive to import elephants in. And the Ptolemies in Egypt and the Seleucids and the various Macedonian dynasties did import elephants.
yeah.
But they all came from India because, again, they didn't, they couldn't breed elephants in captivity or didn't want to. It might have been too dangerous. So what they did was they maintained wild herds, and at a certain age they captured the elephants and trained them. So the elephant is captured in India and trained, and then walks all the way to Egypt.
Yes, very nice.
Luckily, elephants live a really long time.
How
Luckily
long
for
does an
us, not
elephant live, Pete?
I think 60 or 70 years,
Oh,
maybe
that's
longer.
long. That's I didn't think about that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Pete, look
I
at
mean, with
another one. Look how many
I
items
liked it.
they have.
I love the top hat.
This
Oh,
is
it's got
one
this.
when back then you wanted to go to House of Lords.
Yes, well, he seems prepared for a fight, though. Oh, don't worry, he's okay. Ah, steel bows, I see.
Yeah,
Chakram,
yeah,
all the good things.
yeah,
Nice shields.
yeah,
So there's a Ferengi sword in the middle,
yeah,
Tuas on the side,
yeah,
Khanjars, a variety of Khanjali, and of course Bazband,
yeah.
and really good selection. I see one of those folding katars where you squeeze the handles and the blade pop out into three
Yes.
things.
Pete,
Oh, they're
look at
nice.
this. And now, beautiful things where all these nails are there. Allah,
Mm.
Ali, Salam, Amin. Oh God, they're all inscriptions now. All
Yeah.
inscriptions, Pete.
And looks like the one on the left of the picture, which is in fact a left-hand one, has been in a battle.
Yes, definitely. Look at this.
And you
Maybe,
would imagine, yeah. And the left arm is the one you're defending yourself with.
yes, that's right.
So that makes sense that it would get more damage than the other side.
Hit, maybe hit by Zargnul.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Look at that. Oh God. Serious damage. Look at this Pete. One, two,
yeah,
three, four, five, six. Oh God, this has been multiple hits on it, right?
yeah, but didn't puncture it.
Yeah.
So that probably saved that guy's arm.
Yeah.
See, the thing about Bazuban, hit down in that area, even a really solid hit like that probably wouldn't break your arm, even though the bones are very delicate in the wrist area. So I think these fulfilled their function really well. It looks like maybe a sword cut up towards the midway up there,
Yeah, here is a
basically.
shortcut. You're right here.
Yeah, yeah, we've had a bit of fun. Ah,
Yeah.
scary.
Scary, guys. Really scary.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Dude, look at this
Ah,
dagger. Oh God, how beautiful this one is.
well, the one on the left is a Kanjali.
Yes, here.
I think it's one of the ones that has a kind of hollow groove with little balls that roll up and down in it. I could be wrong. Sometimes they're pearls if you're really rich.
Yes.
Um, I have one very much that looks like that, but it's not ivory, it's bone in the handle. They are so nice in the hand. Um, and see how strong the point is? Because they're mainly a stabbing weapon.
Yes.
Um,
Really. Yes. Excuse me. Yes.
massively strong point.
Yes. Beautiful, right? And look at the Qatar. One of those
Yeah,
again, right?
very, very much a mid to late 19th century idea of having these pop apart weapons that, or weapons that have lots of things stacked inside a hollow blade or whatever. But
We
this is
just
a cut. I
explained that
assume,
when you in these ones when you pull those two bars like this, then it
yeah,
opens, right? Yeah, exactly.
yeah. You squeeze and it pops open. And they're not very strongly made, but if they were, some of them are. If they are strongly made, it's a good parrying weapon because you can catch your enemy's blade
Yes.
between the splayed fingers of the.
And guys,
But
remember one thing, they are handmade and they didn't have the modern tools of today. This is extremely important to take into account when you look at
yeah,
these items, right?
so the hollow parts of the blade are not probably hollowed out. They're probably two pieces of steel forge welded along the edge and
Yes.
then hammered apart a bit so that the middle blade fits in. It's a lot of work,
No, no.
but not beyond these people. They knew what they were doing. Yeah, they're very nice. I like the Kanjali particularly. That's
Yes.
attractive.
Yes. Oh, this beautiful helmet. It has like,
Ah,
like coif, mail, but
yeah,
you're
an
still going to
avatar, and
House of
yeah,
Lords. And your hat is made
yeah.
of patent crucible steel.
With gold inlay.
Yes.
Oh, and you've got a plume holder on the top,
Oh,
just in
yeah, I
case.
forgot that one. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. That is spectacular. But remember the crazy Japanese helmets where they took European hats and turned them into helmets?
Yes,
This
yes,
is
right,
exactly
right.
the same idea. Uh, yeah, we can do it. Possibly
Actually,
it's
Pete,
it's a
look at that. This will work in fight. It's a helmet, huh? It's not just
yeah.
you know,
Well, yeah. I was thinking that the brow is very strong looking,
yeah,
and of course the helmet is far away from the top of your head, so somebody could hit you with a mace and push the helmet down, but your head would still be safe, more or less.
yes.
Um, yeah. Well, there were kind of cylindrical type helmets, not as tall in Europe in the Middle Ages. But I just think the sheer whimsy of it. I'm sure uh, some Maharaja had this made, and one day he was out riding, and the British resident rode past and would have done a double take. What are you
I
making fun
really
of?
love this one. Really. It's such a, you know,
There's a lot of subtlety in it. The brim seems to be double. It's got a double curve to it to
yeah,
make it more effective.
yeah.
Everything's been thought out in
So
detail.
beautiful.
Oh, that shit.